Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bi-monthly meeting, Zoom meeting of the St. Louis, I'm going to say United States National High School Champions League Coaches Meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Minkler is going to be leading the charge on this, so have at it. Have at it, Terry.
All right, Kip, thanks. Usual procedure is to start with the regional reports, and I'll start with St. Louis, and we'll go from there, because we got a real short mention to make. We're having our seating meeting tomorrow night for the girls. They just finished their season in the spring, so we're going to do this seating meeting tomorrow and get that sorted out. The other report from St. Louis is that we would like to recognize and congratulate Maddie DeMaria, who won the National Gatorade Female Player of the Year award for the second time as a junior. I'm not sure why she missed as a sophomore, but she got it as a freshman and a junior. So good for her. Just for the information, she's leaving school early to join North Carolina next year. Instead of being a senior in high school, she'll be a freshman at North Carolina. So you'll probably see and hear a little bit about Maddie DeMaria in the future. She's an up-and-coming special player, so remember that name. That's the St. Louis report. Let's go to Florida. Let's go to Tampa Bay. We got a
right.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I got it here there too. Not a lot of news except for we do have ready in the fall 16 boys teams, 16 girls teams, all ready to go. This summer we did a pilot program. We got Mitchell High School, Sun Lake High School, Wiregrass did a 7-on-7 league this summer. We wanted to see basically going through if we can go forward with fortunately in the state of Florida we're not governed in the summertime with what we do with kids too much. So we can actually practice if we want to. We can play games. We can do whatever we want to in the summertime. So, but most of the kids, because of club and vacations, everything else, it's tough to do. So for the month of June, 1 day a week, we all met at Wiregrass, but we would play 20-minute half games. The kids were pretty much self-officiated for these games. We had a coach there just to be there. But the kids got along great with each other. It was more about just being able to play with your buddies out in the summertime, something for them to do, and it went really, really well. So we're looking at potentially next summer expanding it and try and go to an 8-team summer league of a 7-on-7, and we'll see how it goes. But so far it looks really good.
Hey, John, are you familiar with the future? It's a U17 called Future Cup in Holland. It's sponsored by Ajax Amsterdam. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with it.
That would be, if you're doing a summer 7-on-7, it might be something really interesting for the kids to play under the different modified rule changes that they have. It's really exciting. They have an annual spring tournament, international spring tournament, usually around Easter time, and it's innovative. It really keeps the game flowing and it makes it exciting. So if you get a chance, look that up. The Future Cup in Holland. You might want to consider that for your summer program.
We're doing that in Tampa, so I will look it up for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to we'll go Polk County. Polk County here. I guess that's a no. How about South Florida?
Yeah, I got it, Terry.
Okay.
Very similar to Dave. Restricted. There's restrictions in the state of Florida. In the summer, it's kind of the Wild West show. We can do whatever we want. We coach our kids. Can do whatever we want to be involved. We are trying to find a way to circumnavigate the restrictions on coaching your kids during the school year outside the winter season in Florida. The requirement basically is in order to set it, you can coach your kids in a separate club, a standalone club. The issue or the problem historically has been you have to demonstrate you are participating in an actual league and have an actual league schedule. I had a meeting with Jim and the guy from the UPSL 2 weeks ago, maybe now, Christian Vejos, and they are interested in seeing if they can fashion something, some sort of a UPSL league or a division, which would be available to high school age players, limited to high school age players, so you don't have the overage problems you've got with under 19s and UPSL guys, where you got former or wannabe professionals coming out of South America who are jumping on programs. We limited to high school age teams. Ideally, it would be tailored to high school programs where coaches are able to work with their kids outside the season, the high school season that is, and not run afoul of the state's rules. Those discussions went well. Christian was very receptive, and it sounds like he's trying to get something to do that will be accommodating to what we need in the state of Florida to stay in high school administrative compliance, but allow us to get where we need to be in terms of working with our kids. The problem I've got, at least at St. Thomas, I'm sure if the other Florida high schools are got the same problem. Most of my guys, when they get to be juniors, seniors, stop playing club because most of them have given up and they're done drinking the Kool-Aid, and they're realizing they've been sold a bill of goods for the last 10 years of their careers. So a lot of them are not playing. So the problem becomes, if my kids aren't playing club, I can't do anything with them for 3 months leading into the high school season, which then puts me behind the 8 ball as opposed to some of the other coaches in South Florida who have basically taken all their kids and taken them to the clubs at which they're coaching. I have no interest in getting back to the club game. So that's kind of the issue that we're trying to resolve. Short of that, we got our draw done. We got our league scheduled. High school soccer season in Florida starts November 2nd. So ready to go. Thanks, Terry.
Wow. How about Minnesota? Is it Minnesota on board tonight?
I think so.
Guess that's a no. Are we welcoming Chattanooga tonight, or is Chattanooga representative?
Chattanooga's in the house.
Holy cow, baby.
Go for it.
My name is Chris Cushenberry, and everyone calls me Cush. I have the great honor of coaching McCarley School, where the great Kevin Sims used to be the head coach. Glad to see you on here, Kev. And yeah, I'm really excited about joining on and getting started. We're going to start with a 4-team thing just to get it rolling. You know, sometimes you just got to start somewhere. And so we're excited about starting next year. We've got 4 teams that are ready to go. We're working on scheduling today, and I'm excited to come in and learn from you guys and join the spirit and see how to grow this thing. Because, yeah, we want to see high school soccer move forward.
Oh,
Chris,
man.
What kind of questions might you have for this group right now tonight, since you got all these people on board right now?
Yeah, first question. Do I understand that a freshman won Gatorade National Player of the Year from St. Louis?
You know it.
The female, yeah, Maddie Dean.
That is
freshman, yeah.
crazy.
I don't know. She missed sophomore year, but she did.
And did she also play high school soccer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, she had to be Gatorade. That's amazing.
She
For a freshman.
passed up club to play high school, passed up academy and everything else to play high school.
Baller. That's the poster child right there. That's so impressive.
Well, it really is, because she still plays on the national team without doing all the academy stuff.
Where does she go to school?
She goes to high school called Koryezu, which is a girls' private school. She'll be in North Carolina next year, though.
That's incredible. Wow, that was super impressive. No, I'm really excited to join on. I think from talking to Jim over the last couple of years, the thing that has stuck out to me in all of this is just like how do we bring community and culture and all the positive things to the game, and how do we have coaches work together and do all the things that make sports a good thing and not a bad thing. And I love it. I'm so excited to be joining on, and his Jim's persistence is I don't know how many of you have experienced the persistence, but if that guy was selling insurance, I'm sure he'd be a 9-figure net worth kind of guy, because because he's been on it, and it's been great. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I have in terms of great questions from the start. Like I said, we're starting with 4 teams next year. But if there's any wisdom that people have to share of like, man, here's a great tip, or here's how we started to grow it. There's all the awkward things that we have that it sounds like you guys all have, which is like our big private schools are the, there's a couple schools that are sort of typically the best schools in our area. And then there can be a big gap. And so how do you not, like I don't want this to be about my team. Like I want it to be something that's good for the good of the game. And I know there's just a ton to learn from you guys in those roots of how do we do it. So I agreed to be, sort of the chair for the first year for Chattanooga, but I really don't want it to be a Macaulay thing. I want it to be a thing that's great for the city. And so I'm interested in any ways that you guys have learned and grown all this stuff.
Anyone want to jump in and offer any suggestions for Chris? Floor's open.
Coach and I have talked about this a few times as well. Coach, I'm curious as to how you went about deciding who those 4 teams were going to be.
So, and this is to be really just, I'm a pretty transparent and open person. So there are 5 teams that are there are 5 classifications. So in Tennessee, so you've got private and public are split. So you got 2 private and 3 public. So public, big, middle, and small, and private, big and small. And so it's hard because we represent all 5. And so it's like, how do you get to 4 or 8 or whatever it was? And one of the hopes as coaches who jumped on the Zoom call about this is like, how do we use this for good? And so there are 5 things. The coach that went the furthest in the big public division, the medium-sized public division, and the small private division, or the smaller public division, are all on board and want to see it grow and want to do it. And their teams all went the furthest the previous year, and then I was on the call as well. The one that wasn't on it was the smaller private school division, and their coach is the other coaches who jumped on this call from Chattanooga were really frustrated with this guy, and he's been breaking all the recruiting rules there are in Tennessee and going after these kids and doing whatever. And a lot of the coaches were like, I don't want to work with that guy. I wouldn't want to do something with that guy. Like, how do we, whatever. And so he didn't join the call. He never responded to anything. He never, whatever. But the discussion that sort of came from the other coaches was like, how do we grow this into a thing where we are all in it together, where instead of people, turning people into the state or doing whatever, like how do we all start working together in a way that breeds civility and opens up dialogue so that there is more transparency and there is cleaner water. And so that one group didn't have anybody who came to the first meeting, hasn't tried to be represented, and has a coach who is kind of on the outs. So the 4 are in. And then their goal is like, look, we want to grow this thing to 12 or 16 teams next year and do it. But, I would love to think everything in life grows beautifully and organically and there's no whatever in the water. But even from day one, there's sort of some oil in the water that's like, and how do we use sport to make it better as opposed to having more problems? And so if you have wisdom on those things, like that's definitely something I'm very interested in.
Sounds like you're on a pathway for a book.
Yeah, I'd love to figure that out.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful.
Yes, I have a couple of things that may or may not help. First of all, I think it was very similar here in Tampa 9 years ago when we started doing it, trying to decide how to get teams, get people interested. There was definitely a difference between private schools and public schools. But over the time, I think the Champions League has actually helped our coaches work together better. We all had a common thing, and only one team was going to come out at the winner at the end of it. So it was basically like, all right, how do we make this better? What do we need to do? I was on the phone with people or emails with people all the time, and coaches I didn't know before, I've gotten to know really well now. And they switch. There's some of the schools next year it's a different coach we had the first year. But it's actually helped bring the coaches together more so than divide them. So that hopefully will help you too. The second thing is for us to be, when we first started, we were the same way. We started out with 12 teams the first year, and we tried to build from there. We added the girls after that. But what made us legit was when we finally, I went out and got our 501c, our nonprofit. And it doesn't seem like maybe a big deal, but all of a sudden, you're trying to do all these special things for kids. And then for the first couple of years, it was coming out of my pocket. I was paying for pretty much everything and just getting it done the best we could. But once we went out and to talk to people and said, hey, about sponsorship, they all asked us if we're tax exempt, if this could be a write-off for them. Starting that process, which takes a while to do, doing it in your first year probably wouldn't be a bad thing to do, to have that in place. So now when you're going out for sponsorship, you say, hey, here's our tax exempt forms, here are our 501c, this is what it's going for, it's a tax write-off for you, and hopefully, but that's probably one of the biggest things I'd say starting off is don't wait too long to actually look into doing it.
Thank you. That's great advice.
In South Florida, I'd echo the same thing in terms of coach camaraderie. It's actually probably been more beneficial in terms of opening doors and opening communications. We're a very densely populated section down here. We jumped in with both feet and basically offered spots in the Champions League to everybody that won their district title. That would have been a total of, I think, 28 or 29 different potential teams. Some didn't take it, some did. It's kind of, does it fit for you? Because we're basing off of a year removed, and some of the smaller schools that don't have the populations or 1 year and dones recognize they're going to get killed by the teams that are perennially the powers. But it has, and we've got the same thing with people recruiting, and that's not necessarily private schools, some of the more notorious with open enrollment in Florida, some of the bigger offenders, the public schools. But in any event, recruiting, poaching players from one place to the next, as I say, it still goes on. There's still issues and problems, but in terms of communication and recognizing kind of we're all in this together and face the same issues, the same problems, there's also a bit of a camaraderie or a counseling session where you can bounce ideas off one another. Hey, I got this problem. I'm dealing. You guys, how are you handling these types of things? It's been good in that sense. Not perfect. There are still some problem children, but it's been far more positive in terms of recognizing people as being other coaches in the same situation and dealing with the same issues than it's been a detriment down here. So keep plugging away.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I mean, Jim has just done such a great job of selling that vision and selling that camaraderie, and I think it's big. I mean, even in our short window, so the 4 teams that are in next year, one of them is a public school that we haven't played for a long time, and back in 2017, our JV team played against their JV team, and apparently one of the kids on our JV team said something that was, disrespectful, whatever, to their coach. And their JV coach is now the head coach. And I talked to him a few years ago about scheduling a game, and he was like, no, this kid did this thing, and we don't want to play you guys again. And I'm like, I know exactly what kid it was. Like we've all coached a lot of kids. You're like, yep, it was probably that kid. And man, I'm so sorry. And here's, whatever. But anyway, he and I got on the call, and he's like, yes, we do want to be part of this. And how do we grow? And so this will be the first time that we've played them in, I don't know how many seasons. And it was like, you feel like soccer, it's like what we want the World Cup to be, right? Like, how do we bring the world together, and how do we bring people together? And so even in a very small way, I'm already starting to see people move toward each other in ways that seem positive. And I love the spirit that you guys have created here. I feel honored to be part of it.
My question to you is, what format will you use for play if you only have 4 teams?
So for a year, what he said that some other group had done year one was they just played a semi and a final. It was just 2 teams played and 2 teams played, and that's what they did to year one just to get it started, because we've been wanting to start for a while, but it's like, how do you get it perfect? And so that's the thought right now for us for year one is we're just going to do a draw. And I actually think the way they're going to do it to make it, the thing that I've been really sensitive to this whole time is we've been the top program in the city. And I'm like, I'm not trying to like go win another trophy or something. And so we don't want it to seem that way. And so us and the big public school, I think, are actually going to play each other first. And then the two smaller teams are going to play each other first. And that way one of them is guaranteed to be in the final. And so I think that's how we're going to do it the first year. And then the hope after that is to grow it and get it bigger. And who knows exactly what it's going to look like. We're just not as densely populated as a lot of the areas you guys are talking about. And so trying to make it, how far can you spread it out and still have good games and still have games that people, want to play. Because our state has now gone, I think like a lot of you guys, to max preps. And so the games you schedule now are more important. And so the smaller schools actually then are like kind of glad to play us now, whereas maybe they haven't in the past. So
have you talked about actually doing a trophy for their finals? And
yes.
The reason I asked, and I don't know what other people do, our very first year the trophy was, it's a big trophy that we wanted to keep that nobody keeps basically. For the year when you win it, your school keeps it for that year. And at the end of the year, your nameplate gets put on the trophy itself, sort of like the Stanley Cup or the different names go on, and then it gets take it back from them at the end of the year, and then whoever wins it the next year, they take the trophy over. That's I think a good thing to do because there's multiple schools that have held that cup now that we have. The other thing is probably Jim had started all this and then retired on me and left me at the first year. So I was smart enough, I think, at the time to name the trophy after Jim Hart, because that way I dragged him back into it because he had to come present the trophy. But if you have somebody in your area that has been an icon, for you in that area, it's not a bad thing to do to draw somebody else in for you that's going to support high school soccer. And that's not the only reason we do it. Someone would obviously need it. We have Vicky King on the call with us, and our girls trophy is the name, the Vicky King Trophy. And that is she's still coaching, but she's got 7,000 wins, I think, in her career. So maybe I went a little high there, Vic, but yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I know there's several places that do a blind draw round by round, and I think that's pretty cool. But I understand if you've only got 4 teams that might not be an appropriate thing to do. And I'm just curious, and I know Kush would like to know this as well. Where are the places that are actually getting media attention when they're doing their draws?
Tampa definitely does. Tampa gets a lot of media attention, mostly social media, but it is podcasted out, it's broadcasted out. There's a radio station, a guy that comes out and he covers it for us. We bring in a lot of people. Ryan Helfrich's been in there from the Rowdies. Jim has brought in other people that come in, and actually we guests that didn't speak before we actually do the draw. We do a blind draw also. So we have a board that's made, and the names actually get put up after the ping pong ball comes out with their name on it. The names get put right up on the board, and it's actually a big show. And we cater it a little bit now, where we do get some food and stuff for people to come and attend. But it's become a lot of fun to do, and a lot of the coaches will show up for it.
St. Louis has not gotten any social media publicity for the draw yet. We get good coverage during the run of the actual play. But the draw we don't get any coverage on as of yet.
And don't you guys do a draw after each round, or do you just do a big draw to get the whole thing started?
It just in the beginning to get it all started. So like I said earlier, the girls have their draw tomorrow, and they'll draw them into 4 pools, and then the athletic directors come up with the actual scheduling. So the draw is just to put them in pools. I see Perry Vanderbeck is on the call. Perry, would you like to jump and give some words of wisdom to the group? Perry's still muted.
I think Jim said Perry was in Dallas right now, so he may not be. He was going to listen in, but he might not be able to talk.
I'm off. Guys, sorry, I was on mute. I couldn't get off mute, so I apologize. Well, also, I'm still in Dallas here, guys, and I'm listening to the conversation. Just want to thank everyone for being on the call. So, again, just everything that, everybody's ever said, from John Walsh to Terry Mickler to Dave Wilson, you guys are spot on. So, again, Kush, obviously you're just starting out. And again, these gentlemen, they've been doing this for 7-8 years now. And again, you're doing the right thing by asking the questions. And again, like you said from the beginning, you got to start somewhere. So appreciate you taking the action and, getting on the calls. And once it starts going forward, you'd be surprised. People will call and say, okay, we want to be part of this. So you're doing the right thing. So thanks for doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, Pitt.
Hey, I wanted to confirm something, Terry, if I could. If it's my understanding, you and Jim and Greg had shared, you're going to need to save at least 2 games in your schedule for this to work. Is that correct? At least 2 games?
No, in ours we take 3 because we have pools of 4, and everybody plays everybody. So you're guaranteed 3 games.
Okay. And in Kansas City, the people I've spoken with, they're all on board. We'll easily get 8, possibly 16 teams. The Kansas side, we could probably invite them in. The only problem is their hands are tied. They got good soccer over there, good quality players, coaching facilities, but their state association limits them to 16 games.
Right.
And having coached over there for a few years, one of our conferences had 14 teams. So the only 2 games that were open were non-conference games. Whereas Missouri, we have 25 potentially. So I think the Missouri coach I spoke with would like to get it started 2027. They want to get on the KC side, they want to start talking about it. Most of the ADs will know about it by this fall. That there's no conflict with MISA or National Federation. But, it'll help promote the game. It'll help promote some of those small rivals where maybe a Class 2, 3 school can play Class 4 school. So, that's the challenge in Kansas. Some of those teams could join on in 2027 on the Johnson County side for the most part if they were interested, but they'd have to save at least 2 games, and they're limited to 16. And so I know some of the big schools that have 14 teams in their conference, they play each team once. Unless their association increases that, which it's like fossils over there. They don't change very much. It's unfortunate. They got good quality soccer, but baseball can play 36, 38 games in Kansas, but they're still stuck at 16 regular season games, and then they have playoffs. And I did want to mention, I saw Kevin Sims was on here. Ben Papula, my former college coach. Some of you guys know Ben from professional days and collegiate days. He played at Clemson. He passed away this past week, and just a huge ambassador for the game of soccer. I worked for Ben, played for Ben. He was at my wedding, just a stand-up guy, and died unexpectedly this past week. So please keep him and his family your thoughts and prayers.
Peace.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
For sure.
I very unsuccessfully chased him around the soccer pitch when he played at Clemson. That's all I'll say.
Thanks for letting us know that, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Kush, I got a couple guys on here that I want to introduce to you. Hopefully they'll say some nice stuff. But Siggy, how about introducing yourself to Kush? Let him know about your project. Because Kush, these are some extra benefits that our Champions League is able to provide through the generosity of these expert people that are going to talk to you. Ziggy, you're on.
Thank you, Kush. Welcome.
Have
you seen the video that the Concert Kings did for us this past year? With, the final.
Crazy
Yeah,
cool.
that's a great selling tool for you. As far as myself, I have a college recruiting, college planning company, and we're offering 5 complimentary mentorships to players that you guys would nominate from your league. No charge, all the way through their commitment to college or graduation or whatever comes first.
Wow.
is to kind of help those maybe that aren't able to play club soccer, afford those fees, or someone you really believe in that maybe, needs a little bit extra help and guidance. I'm a former college coach, former national chair for the NSCA back in the day, All-American Committee. So I've got great connections, and I can educate the players on, the goal is for them to go to the next level and play college. And that's my commitment that each market gets 5 complimentary mentorships with me personally. So
thank you so much. I mean, as you know, the landscape has just changed so much. I mean, we like trying to get guys to go play and Division I soccer, and the changes have been really, really difficult. So people who do that and have connections and do that is massive. So thank you so much. We'd love to jump on a call with you at some other point and connect, and because certainly want to take advantage of that. But I'm sure we also have other kids that would be a great fit with you.
Yeah, and you're starting with boys only, correct?
Yes, correct.
And actually, my question would go out to everybody that's from a different market. How can we establish the criteria or the nomination process for you guys to nominate these 5 individuals to make sure they benefit from this? Because it's a benefit that can help draw players and schools maybe to future years, but people have to take advantage of it as well, So I would love everybody's input on that. How can we promote it? How can we get people to actually put forth some names?
Ziggy, this is Perry. That's a great point. And I think that has to be, well thought out. And obviously, with Ziggy's service, this professional service, I think it's important for all of us to, obviously take advantage of it. And again, but let's take a look at that, Ziggy. I'll get with Jim next week and kind of walk him through it. Obviously, your comments, and we'll come up with a plan.
Yeah, and I'll throw some suggestions your way, and we'll stick our heads together and see how we can send it out to the group.
No, I appreciate that, Ziggy. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for the time, Terry and Perry.
Ziggy, what would be your contact information if somebody wanted to email or text you, their ideas?
I don't know. I should still be on that master roster if everybody gets that. If not, probably texting me at 727-424-4071, or if they want to look up Nagel College Planning. I think there's a link on the new high school Champions League website as well to all the sponsors.
Can you say that phone number one more time?
Sure. Area code is 727-424-4071.
And we're all on Wales certified podcast right now, so
Yes.
the whole meeting will be available for replay. So if you missed the number, you can get the number there. But good, I want to introduce you to Tim McAvoy, our national sponsor with Select Sport. Tim, you want to say some stuff to Chris?
Yeah, welcome, Chris. We need to get together when you get an opportunity. I know Jim sent out an email and copied me on it as well as you. So maybe sometime next week, if you get in touch with me, we can kind of hook up to get going, to get you lined up for equipment for the coming season and go over a little bit about what else we do other than what Jim's told you on the email. So any way I can help you, just let me know.
Absolutely. I'll email you after this and try to set something up for tomorrow.
Perfect. I'll be here.
Thanks so much, Tim, for what you do.
All right, Chris, you're welcome.
Hey, Chris, I got 2 things for you. One, let me see if I can remember 2 things. I'm getting pretty old here now. First one is at my high school, we used to sponsor a 4-team tournament, and we would play round robin. Everybody would play each other, and the champion was based on points. So that way you get 3 games. With the 4 teams, everybody gets to play 3 games. You play each team once. We get points for wins and ties, goals scored up to a certain number, and after everybody's played, then you come up with a final total. The team with the most points wins. That way you get an extra game out of it.
Yeah.
So that's a thought.
That's not a bad idea.
My second thought was to share with you about the Champions League in general, what it means to me. I can only speak for myself, but what it means to me in my area is that the Champions League is, along with the World Cup, it's the highest level of international competition. And according to our 5 pillars, one of which is that it's merit-based. You have to do something worthwhile to get into it. Champions League is winners only, and other top-ranked teams in different markets, different areas. So the Champions League is an annual event which gathers the attention of the whole soccer world every year. Everybody follows the knockouts and you get to the final game, and it's a big deal. So we like to think that we can bring that down to our level and you have the same kind of concept involved, that it becomes a big deal because it's merit-based, it's local teams, it's coach collaboration, it's free to get in, and it's student-empowered. So we're giving a chance for kids that might not be able to play club ball for different reasons to play high school ball and get recognized, and maybe have a future beyond what they would have had otherwise. So we give them that opportunity. And the other point of it is, like in your case, you got 5 different divisions, public school and private school. What the Champions League does, in our area, we have 4 divisions. And we have the top 2 divisions plus anybody in the lower divisions that meet the criteria of qualification. So we know, we're playing to see bragging rights. What's the best team in the area? And Jim will stand behind that statement too. The Champions League decides who's the best team in the area. So it's kind of like for bragging rights as well. So there's a concept involved with the model of what it represents, and then there's the sidebar item of, hey, who's the best?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Just food for thought. Anybody else have any other points to share?
I guess I would just quickly mention, Coach, I know some of the areas also have professional local teams that have gotten involved in the tournament, maybe sponsored some of the games. I know you have a couple of options there in Chattanooga, and I don't know what the politics of all that might be to approach them, but just something I know some folks have done.
Good point. It's a good point.
Go
ahead.
Interesting thing in our city where there are 2 pro teams and they are very much at odds with each other, and so it's an interesting deal. But yeah, how do you use soccer to bring people together? And so hopefully if we get 2 pro teams to work together, who knows, maybe that'd be a big thing. Siggy, I don't know, or Terry, I'm not sure which of you is responsible for Balogun being able to play tomorrow. Is that
I think it's the top dog. I think the top dog paid off their top dog.
What? How did this happen? Does anybody have any inside information of how this happened? It seems unprecedented.
CR7. Check it out.
Article 27, they said.
Yeah.
So it's not rescinded. I think it's suspended.
Suspended.
Red card, so.
He's on double secret probation.
It should have been a red card anyway. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Ask Belgium what they think about it.
So we're a boarding school, and we have kids from all over the world. And
wow.
one of our players is from Belgium, and so the group chat in the last couple hours has been lively. As he's like, "This is unbelievable. How do you gonna U.S. corrupt whatever?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm glad he's playing. Balogun's birthday is July 3rd, which is my birthday, which was 2 days ago. And so he's kind of like my favorite player. I love the guy.
Yeah.
And so when he's playing is unbelievable. So I saw Belgium put out a statement. They're super upset about it, which makes sense. But if one of you had something to do with it, I appreciate it.
We will never disclose our resources.
There's some swords I'm happy to fall on, but not that one.
You definitely changed Vegas.
Chris Lawson, I had a thought for you though too. With the one side with having the tough part with their conference games, and they only allowed, which side's up, Missouri or Kansas City? I don't remember.
What? It's Kansas. It's the Kansas side because I'm on the Missouri side.
Okay.
I'm coaching Kansas, and they're only allowed 16 regular season games.
Right. So my thought process was basically if you could think about potentially having, for example, that conference that has 14 teams in it, the being basically the pool for them. So it will be a stagger where one side may only be 6 teams on the other side. They have 14 teams playing for a conference champion. Whoever the conference champion winner is on that side would only have to save one game then to play a crossover game at the end with the winner from the other side. That could be one way to bring them into the mix with the champions.
I'll share that with them. I appreciate you bringing that up because when I got involved in the spring, when Terry and those guys got in touch with me, most of the schools have their schedules like 2 years out. And so by letting them know this summer that these are some options, we'll easily be able to do it. They can contact their ADs. And I know in Missouri would be a lot easier too, but because we're allowed 25, not everybody plays 25 games. Right. But if they can just save one game, that might entice them to get involved with to promote the game. So thank you for sharing that. I'll mention that.
Yep. Chris, if you could get a couple teams involved from the same conference, maybe they could count that conference game double as a Champions League game as well. That way you get 2 for 1. They could save a game and it could count twice.
So you could count the conference game as
their Champions League, as their pool game.
Yeah, pool game. That would help with their numbers.
Yep.
Do we have someone on the call that has a book published now? Anyone?
Jim was talking about Giovanni's book.
Yeah.
Jim wanted to bring up Giovanni's book was being published and wanted to make sure people knew. The title is in the last email, but he just wanted to make sure people knew the book was up and out. So if Giovanni was on, I was going to ask him where we could find it, but probably Amazon is a good place to start.
What was the title again?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
it's in the email.
Yeah, look it up now.
I think it was like something unstructured to do with unstructured soccer or something like that.
Yep.
The importance of unstructured free play.
The importance of unstructured free play, correct. Yeah. Coaching with great soccer mentality.
Yep.
I'm guessing everybody on this call buys into that concept immediately, right?
Yeah.
Jim had 2 other things he wanted to bring up, just for the good of the group. On the website now, there will be a section for a team reporter. So teams that are involved can have a student be in charge of reporting scores and different things like that right to the website for everybody. I know he'll talk more about that next week. And he also wanted to tell you that if you wanted to be on Wales's, what do you call it, starting 11?
Yep.
That Wales would be happy to take your name and schedule you for an appointment sometime soon coming up. So we go from there.
That starting 11 is a Monday through Friday production by Wales. And usually 11 means like 11 minutes, but he changed it to starting 11 or something like that.
Or thereabouts.
Or thereabouts. There you go. It gives you a little leeway. If you can't make it in 11 minutes, you got leeway.
And also know that Tuesday the winter-spring teams all region get announced on the United Soccer Coaches website, and come Friday the 10th, the All-America winter-spring teams will be announced also. So I've been working on those over the last couple of days. So they'll be in good shape.
Thanks, John, as always.
Yes.
I haven't been to the website in a while. How far along are we?
It's pretty good.
Oh, it's really pretty sharp. The Champions League website is really pretty sharp.
Okay. I feel like the last notice I got of it was that it had a lot of building yet to go, so I need to go check that out. Okay, great. Glad to hear it. Because it's a lot easier to, I think, communicate with other people about all this by sending them to the website. And I've been back and forth. Christine, Lily, and I are going to be getting together here sometime pretty soon to talk about this stuff. I sent her some information. She was excited about the concept, and then was, like everybody else is when they first think about it, how do I make this happen in communities? And even just listening on this call tonight, the right answer to that is different in every community based on their own structures and rules and obligations and all that kind of good stuff. But if she gets fired up about it, it would be nice to add her name into the list of folks that are jumping in.
Yep.
All right, folks, last call. We're going to wrap it up. Anybody got any last statement to make?
Go USA.
There you go. All right, everybody, thanks for being on the call tonight. And Jim,
Has Ancelotti been fired yet?
What?
Has Ancelotti been fired yet?
Yeah, probably. Probably buying his own ticket wherever he wants to go next.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame. It was unfortunate. But he had
everything.
killed himself.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, everybody, thanks. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Terry, thanks a lot. Thanks for taking the call, Terry.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for having us.
Thank you, guys.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This United States National High School Coaches Champions League meeting with Kevin Whalen and all the hosts. Come on, listen up. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can get off of this.